Alright guys, so how's it going today? So yeah, not making too many videos now. It's just there ain't much to videotape. I suppose the sun's gonna be in your guys' eyes. Should have started at the other end, I guess. But we're on the trail. Little ways. Well, not little ways. I'm gonna walk most of this. Let's just, walk it, so it gives me an excuse to kind of give you guys a little video. So we are, what the hell is today? I think today is December 1st, I think. Could have looked it up on my phone, I guess, before I started videotaping, but I'm lazy and didn't feel like it. So it'll be down in the description anyway, but I'm pretty sure it's the 1st. But, yeah, so we have been having some pretty, I might as well say it, we've been having some pretty awesome weather this last month or two, because usually starting in October, we've always had snow, at least, like this. But this obviously didn't melt because the sun can't get to it. But out in the open places, it's melted. Out in the hayfield there, and whatever else. Looks like the river's starting to freeze a little bit. She's still open, so nobody's going to be going on there yet with their snowcats. So I don't even know if we'll get to this year or not. Well, maybe. I'm sure we will, but we are warmer than I think we should be. Not that I'm complaining. I ain't complaining, because you know what? Supposedly we've had years in the past where we didn't really get any snow at all until like Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or whatever, right? So I think we're getting that again this year. But I don't think we've had this nice weather, like, warm air. Mind you, it's not warm. It's not 60 degrees. Obviously, I'm still wearing overalls. But it's nice enough where I don't need a ski mask. And it's not that windy really either right now. So, we are, during the day, we're hitting the 30s, and then I think tomorrow they're saying 40s. I think like the low 40s is going to be the high for tomorrow, which would be the 2nd. Plenty of deer tracks down here, so I know the deer are using my trail pretty good. So, yeah. So what's funny is, we get dustings of snow every now and then. I think they're saying pretty much for the rest of this week we're supposed to be dry, which means no snow, no rain, no nothing. Not that I'm complaining, because I don't like the snow. I can kind of deal with the wind and the cool, but I'm not a fan of that either. But I'll take that over the snow, because you know what? Snow, you got to move it. The wind, it moves itself, so I don't have to do anything with that. So, deer really been using my trail hard. There's a lot of tracks down here. I'm surprised. So, I haven't been down here probably about a month, because, well, there's no sense, because the trail's blocked off again. I got a tree that fell across it again. About a month ago, we had kind of a good windstorm come through here, and it pushed that dead tree over. So I'm going to leave it to next year. Fuck it. It'll give me something to do for next year then, I guess. But that's just the way it'll be. But yeah, so we are abnormally warm. Now, this can be a good thing, and this could be a bad thing, because you know what? Winter's late this year, which is a good thing. But I just got that damn feeling that winter's going to be here late. Like April. like it was, I think, a couple of years ago. The snow didn't officially start melting until like late April, I think. So, or something like that. Winter was melting a little later than it should have. So it's breezy. There's a breeze behind me, but walking back and it's gonna suck. But yeah, look at those damn piles of burdocks. Who the hell did that? That's stupid. But yeah, so here's Monster Tree. That's our second biggest one. I think we got another one that's probably slightly bigger than that one, but the bigger they are, that means they've been here a lot longer. So yeah, and so yeah, we're warmer than normal. Whatever else is going on is what's going on. But, you know, I'm not going to complain too much because it's giving me a break. Not that, I mean, last winter was okay, but it sucked the last winter because I didn't have Big Red, so any snow that we did get, I was forced to do it by hand. You know, it looks like there's been something walking on the river. I see little walk marks. Not people, but I think like deer or something. Small game, I guess. Yeah. So the river's frozen, I guess, in some places. It's not frozen everywhere, but it's some places it's froze. I guess the deer will like that because now they can go. Yeah, they've really been down there. They probably like it because now they can go from Minnesota and go to North Dakota without taking the bridge, right? You know, they're not stuck here now. So they can just go right across. And of course, deer ain't going to take the bridge. And they can't swim. So, yeah. So this is probably the only chance they get now going across. Which I'm sure they probably like. So, but yeah. The young guy finally came and got all his hay. So don't have to worry about that now for the season, which is kind of, I'm glad that 2020 haying is officially done, you know, because he took his half, we took our half. We're done now. Here's that tree. There's that stupid tree. It was dead for quite a while. It just, the wind finally pushed it over. So whatever. But we'll get rid of it next summer. I already winterized everything, the chainsaw and everything anyway, so. But yeah, so the young guy came and got all his hay. He said that it was so nice out there for a while that he said, fuck it, I'm moving hay, and he decided to do stuff at the ranch there, so that's why he didn't get here till now, well, a few days ago or whatever the hell it was, to get his hay. So, because he wanted to get things done that he wanted to get done, because moving hay, you can pretty much do that any time of the year. And now the ground's getting kind of stiff now, so trucks are going to float over it, I think, pretty well. So it's not froze, but I think it's froze enough. So, but yeah, so I don't know, but at least that's done and over with. I think he said that he made 1,900 round bales this year, which is a lot, but he's got close to 100 head of cattle, so he kind of needs all that hay. But I know he gave us a couple of bales, I guess for whatever reason. I just don't think he wanted to load them and piss us on a couple of bales, but he said that he gave them to us because of our one cow, my cow. She's not knocked up. I still have her, by the way. I'm just having a hard time figure out what the fuck to do with her. I got a couple of guys on YouTube saying to get rid of her. She sounds like trouble. The young guy says that he can bring the bull back, or he can take the cow to his place and try it. But either way, we're kind of screwed on that, because the way I think, well, it's kind of the same way my grandma thinks too. We don't like dumping our problems on somebody else. So by letting him take my cow back to his place for however fucking long it needs to be there, he's feeding her, and taking out of his stack, So that's where I kind of don't like that. I disagree with that, because I don't want, his hay going into my cow. I don't think it should be his problem. He's offered to bring the bull down here, but my grandma doesn't like that idea, because one, the bull will be eating our hay, and we are getting low on hay. Well, I'm not going to say we're getting low on hay, but we've gone through a good chunk of our hay already. So she doesn't want the bull here because we're feeding him, and that's hurting our hay stack more. I've thought about getting rid of her. My grandma's pissed off about that. I know some of you guys have said too to get rid of her. But my grandma, she's kind of an old softie. She has a soft spot for animals, and this is why it's hard to ranch with her. She's actually okay with that, with my cow missing this year, not getting pregnant. She feels sad, feels bad for her, because my cow went through the hell of having twins and having them early, and she thinks that she's probably wore out from doing all that. Well, that was months ago when she calved. So she's healed up, I think, by now. And when that bull was here for 2 months, 2.5 months, 2.5 months, whatever the hell it was, I just can't figure out why she missed. My grandma says that it happens, it can happen, that they just don't accept it. But the thing is, I think that my grandma, she thinks that we're doing this just for, for fun. Like, we just want to piss around with cattle, Like, see, the thing is with me, I'm not here to piss around with cattle. I'm here to make a living off that. Even though I'm not going to get rich off of this, I'll never get rich off of that. But even with the 2 cows that I have, I'm not here to piss around with them. They have to make me money yearly, or they're just useless to me. So, now I don't know what the little calf will do. Well, she had a calf already, so she's technically a cow now, but R2, I should just use their tag names because that's what they are. But R2, she had that calf earlier in her life, and she shouldn't even have gotten knocked up in the first fucking place, but she did. And I don't even know if she got knocked up this, now. Even though she's plenty old enough now. I mean, she's over a year old now, so she can technically officially start doing this now. But I don't know. I just hope that, maybe there's something not wrong with her either. But she's also not showing signs of being in heat. Now, my cow, R1, which is my main cow, she was, towards the end there, she was showing signs of being in heat, which kind of fucked me over even more. I know that the bull has been trying to knock her up, but every time he tries, she kind of walks away. And my grandma wants me to give her another chance and, just let her stay here another year. Well, see, here's the thing. If we keep her, which is probably what's going to end up happening, even though I don't want to go that way, if I don't do what my grandma tells me, then I get yelled at and she hates me for a couple of weeks. Because it's her way or the highway. You know, so she's always got to throw stuff in my face, but you know, that's how that goes. That's why family and business don't mix. But I can't go somewhere else and buy another chunk of land and start ranching there because, you know, that costs millions. Land alone is expensive as fuck. See, whereas here, I got land for free. You know, I'm not paying anything on it really, so. But it's, you know, it is what it is. So, but whatever. So the thing is, if we let her go, her next chance now of trying to have a calf or trying to get mated by a bull won't be now until next summer, 2021. So I don't know. I pretty much told my grandma, like, well, if you want to, you know, put the money into her, you know, to keep her healthy and whatever, have at it. I'm not. You know, even though it's my cow, but it's just, I don't like investing money into things that ain't going to make me money back in return. And I feel like she's not making me any money. But, I don't know. She could get knocked up next year, you know, but then she wouldn't calf until 2022, you know. And that's a long time to be waiting for a calf coming out of her. And then for R2, who knows if she's even knocked up. I mean, she could be. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing any signs of her being in heat. You know, and she hasn't been since the bull left. So none of the cows have been. It's just been her. But she's not in heat right now. And they're supposedly, from what Google says, their window of being in heat is very small. So it's no more than 24 hours. And then it's pretty much a month before they go back into that heat cycle again. I was like, holy fuck. So the young guy says to, you know, think about it and decide. He says, I got a couple of weeks yet to decide about it. Why a couple of weeks? I don't know. He didn't say why, but I suppose before he decides to unhook the trailer from his pickup, but yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of just pissing around at this point, and who knows, right? That's a piece of wire laying there. I don't know. This is looks like a wire, but it's a piece of branch. Not a tiny one. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Don't know if we'll really have too many problems with R2, but R1, I don't really know. It's kind of hard to say what to do with her. So, but yeah, I don't know. I could let him take it, you know, let him take my cow for a couple of weeks or whatever. But then here's the thing too, is that when she does, if she does officially get knocked up, which I don't know, her chances of getting knocked up again probably could be pretty slim. She might be damaged internally. Obviously, she's just not showing any signs of that. She's not that old, but she's old, but she's not that old. So she still could have a few more years yet on this ranch making us money if she decides to keep making us money. But if she got knocked up now, the young guy said she probably wouldn't calf until maybe October. Well, that's getting to be kind of late, and I don't want to be pissing around with calves in the middle of winter. I like it in the summertime. That's why we changed it. you know. So I want to keep her on the same schedule as the rest of them, and I feel like him taking her will just fuck everything up, you know. Even though he kind of keeps pushing it, you know, he keeps saying do it kind of thing, just in a, you know, nicer way. And you know, I get it from his point of view, I get that very well, but it's just the fact that you got to look at it from our point of view. If she don't calf until October, the bull's not going to be here. I don't think by then. Or he could be, but the thing is, even if the bull was here, she would have a young calf. She'd probably still be feeding that calf. And I don't know if she would accept getting knocked up that quick, you know, because she just had a calf, you know. So who knows if she's going to say, okay, my legs are open, have at it, even though I just pushed out a baby. You know, I don't think that she could. I've never seen cows do that. I don't know. So, I mean, I guess we could piss around with her for one more fucking year, but I know that if she doesn't get knocked up next year, for sure, yeah, then she definitely will be going for sure then, because we're not going 2 years in a row without having calves. If we go 2 years without a calf, she's never going to have calves again then. She'd be just better off being a meat cow, you know. Might as well just harvest her for her meat and her steaks or whatever. So there would be no sense of pissing around with that anymore. But I don't know. It's pretty much, it's hard to know what to do, you know. Sure, I would like, I mean, if she does get knocked up, you know, now, let's say, then that's a good sign then, because then, yeah, she can calf, you know, she's still fine, but then her calving date's going to be all out of whack. And I don't want to be calving in October or September or whatever. I want to do it in June or July. That's what we planned on doing. You know, it's just easier. It's easier on the calves that way, and they can calf outside and have the mess outside instead of in the damn barns. So, I don't know. I mean, I would like to give her another chance, but, you know, it's just, I don't know. My grandma thinks I should, and I want to too, but I kind of want to know right now, you know. But if you want to know it right now, you know, then you got to take the cow to his place, or he's got to bring the bull down. And I mean, my grandma, she doesn't want the bull here anymore, because then he's feeding off our hay, and our hay stack is getting smaller by the freaking day. So the bull really can't come here, you know. So right now, anyway. But I don't know, and I don't really want to take her to his place, you know, because he's got to feed her. You know, I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's like we both kind of lose in this situation. So the only way you could avoid that problem is just let her go. Let her, you know, just let her stay open. Let her go a winter without calving. Try it next summer. If she's still in heat after the bull's here, then she has to go. But then see, then again too, my herd is getting small again. So, but if R2 is knocked up, then if she had a girl, then I'm right back to where I was. You know, I'm back up to 2 again. Even though I would like to be at more than that, but I don't know. My grandma says that I need to be patient about it. It's like, well, I've been at this for 5 years and I haven't. 2 cows ain't showing fuck all. So But yeah, I don't know. And my grandma says too that we're limited on space. Bullshit. We got plenty of space. She's just, you know, she just wants to argue about it. But we got plenty of land here that the cows can pick at. And plus, what I plan on doing too is the hay land. I'm gonna let it grow. We'll cut it for hay, and then we'll push the bales off to the side, and then fence the whole field off with electric. Like, I have this planned out in my head how we're going to do this to be efficient. We'll start them off with the main pasture, and I'm hoping next summer 2021 we can put them back on top of the dike like we've always had them up there in the past years. Go back on top of there again, so that'll give them a little bit of ground. And then from there, I'm thinking I might talk to the ex-mayor, maybe see if he'd be okay with us putting cattle on his land. Right now the young guy cuts it for hay, but he doesn't sound like he's too interested in doing it, even though I wouldn't mind doing it. I wouldn't have a problem doing it, but you know what, I think that's, for how rough that ground is, I think you're just better off putting cattle on it, let them graze it. And then that should last them at least a week or two. And then we can put them down here in the woods. And this should last, I mean, depending on how much, I mean, the way I would do it, just to say, fuck it, and be done with it, fence the whole goddamn thing off and be done with it. But, you know, we can fence it off in sections too and let them, you know, there's plenty of grass down here. Like, I'm putting my cows down here. I don't care. They're going down in here. I'm just going to keep it where I'll keep it, you know, obviously away from the river, you know, so the cows can't go. And I'll probably leave like a 5-foot gap between the bank and then the fence. Just so in case if the river decides to start coming back up again, then I'll have a little bit of time to take the fence out if I have to. Because the river will come up, you know. And I know that when my great-grandparents farmed, they had cattle down here too. And I think they, from what I'm seeing, they actually stopped their fencing right here. Kind of like where this tree's at, right here. So their fence would stop here. And their cattle never went down in there, as far as I can tell, because there's old fencing in some areas along here. But I'm putting cattle, they got to go down there, you know. So how far I'm willing to put it, I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to at least keep a 5-foot gap between the fence and then the river, because I don't want the cows getting too close to the river, you know. And then I don't want, you know, obviously I don't want them to fall in. So I figure keep a 5-foot distance, you know, that'll kind of keep them away from it. But see, right now there's getting to be a lot of weeds down here, but that's because there's nothing down here to eat it. The deer don't really eat it. Whereas if you had cattle down here, you know, they would pick at what they can, but then what they can't pick at, like, you know, the weeds, they'd walk on it, they'd stomp it down, and eventually they'd kill it. So, and then eventually the grass would come back. I mean, I could come down here with a sprayer and spray it, you know, just get some kind of a chemical that doesn't kill the grass, but just the weeds, and then just spray it. Like, the trail would be an easy thing to do first, because the trail, you know, that's definitely covered in weeds. That's why I plowed it with the cultivator, because I wanted to destroy whatever I could for weeds. Plus, I want my trail back. So, but yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I plan on putting my cattle down there. I mean, my uncles are going to have to come with us, or come with mine. So, you know, and they're staying down here. They're staying down here until there's nothing left. And then by then, well, half the fucking summer is going to be over with, I'm sure, by then. So then haying would have already been done. So then the hayfield should have grew back in some, you know. I mean, well, at least a good, I mean, because it did this year. I mean, especially along the trees, it grew in really well. I mean, it was at least a couple of feet tall, or at least a foot in some places, but 2 feet in other places. Okay. When they chew on this and get it all down, then they're going to go out in the hayfield. We'll stack the hay in the field, and then we'll put an electric fence around that so they can't eat the hay, the hay bales, and then fence that off again, the field, and they can pick on that. And then by then, by the time they're done eating all this down, everything should have been grown back in the main pasture. At least enough where they could be down there for another, up there for another week or two, while all this started to grow back in again. It's called rotating. You have to switch. See, they've been on the main pasture, for quite a few years, and that's never ever gotten a really good chance to grow in because they're there. And there's too many cows now, so they're eating it really, really, really good. So, got to get them off that and put them in another field. So, I think we got the land to do it. But, the thing is too, we need the hay to do it. Well, obviously I kind of want to get our own baler and our own cutter. We can do it ourselves. So then we're not pissing around. I think the young guy said 1 year, every year it can be different, of course, but I think it was just for baling. I don't remember what it was for cutting, or it might have been both. I don't know. I don't remember, but I think he said for baling everything that we do here and to keep that baler running for 1 day, I think he says it costs about $400 to run that baler for the 1 day. Well, you could get this field done. I mean, if you could go at 10 a.m. and go to midnight, you could probably get a good chunk of this done. As long as the weather was in your favor and the hay was right and everything else. So, I've even thought, dude, maybe I could see if maybe 1 year, I could just strictly just pay him in cash and then we could just keep all the hay for ourselves, So, but that's how we've always paid him, for doing the work. We just let him take 60% of the hay and then we take the other 40%. So, well, it'd be nice to keep 100% of the hay because then we would have, I think, enough hay to get us through the year. Because this year we had, 130 something bales, 134 I think it was. I don't really remember, but it was more than last year because we've had a lot of rain this year. But 134 bales, and for the amount of cattle that we have, we probably could make it through at least 95% of the winter, if not all of it. It depends on how early you start feeding too. Like last couple of years, we've been feeding early, but that's because we don't have enough, pasture for them to live off of until, obviously this. So, but I know the young guy said that right now he's feeding his cattle, I think just strictly that beet pulp stuff. He's not even feeding them hay. He says that they can eat all that before they start getting hay. Well, we've bought in beet pulp in the past, and the cows like it. They do eat it, but it freezes to the fucking ground, and then it takes the tractor to get it out. So, and then that's how the new fence that we put in, that's how that got wrecked, because he caught it with the bucket, and ripped it. So, yeah, and beet pulp is supposed to be a little bit cheaper apparently, but it's cheaper than hay. But we don't really see much of a benefit from it. Yeah, the cows eat that a little bit more than they do the hay, but yeah, I don't know. I would rather just feed them strictly hay and then grass. And, the grass first, and obviously take that as far as we possibly can, right up to the last blade of grass that's standing. And then we'll have to start feeding them hay, but then at least, we shouldn't really have to start feeding hay until October, but I mean, we started feeding hay pretty much ever since the day I started hauling that hay. If you guys go back on the videos when I was hauling all that hay with the 15, yeah, my uncle threw a bale out pretty much that same day. So that's, I think, officially when we kind of started feeding hay was a little bit then. So we weren't feeding it as hard as we are now. I mean, now we're just strictly hay now, but you know, they were bouncing back and forth between the bale and the pasture grass. But yeah, I don't know. But you know, to get the electric fencing stuff too, that costs money. Well, you know, we need cabs to kind of make that all worthwhile, you know. And we have one, but that's not mine. And I don't have any. Probably will next year, but if not next year, then I don't know. I'm probably just going to quit then while I'm actually ahead. Because I'm not going to stay in it if I'm not going to get cabs every year. It's just not going to happen. You know. I mean, yeah, it will happen that we get some years where, you know, a cow will miss, but you know, it hurts me because I only have 2 cows. If I had 10 cows and 1 cow missed, well, then it's not really a big deal for me. But when it comes to me only having 2, which I don't accept that, but that's the way it is for right now, you know, yeah, I can't piss around with it. So it's not making me money. But you're never gonna get rich off it anyway, no matter how hard you push this farm. But we're not doing, like, I know what to do to make this farm more efficient, but the thing is that my grandma's not on board with it really. I kind of have to argue with her about it, and that's why things don't really happen the way they should be happening, is because she doesn't want to do it. So but I don't know. But we gotta get our cattle, we gotta give our cattle more ground, I think, you know, just to start with. And then next year it'll be done. I mean, haying will be done, but if I can get my hands on a round baler and a cutter, I'll have to do that. But there is a good New Holland baler for sale not too far from here. It's actually about 90% what I'm looking for a newer New Holland baler, but it's still missing some options that I want, but I would have to pay extra to get that. But for the most part, for a newer style New Holland baler, which is what I'm looking at, they're not brand new, they're used, but they're a few years old, but they're newer than an 855. But it's a belt baler, that's what I should say. That's what I'm kind of looking at right now, are belt balers. But if I really wanted to save some cash, then I could get an 855 chain baler. But I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at what's close to home. There's no New Holland 855s close to home. There's a BR 7090 that's close to home, and that's what I've been kind of poking my eye at. But I got a feeling that bale is going to go in a hell of a hurry because it's in good shape. So the last owners took good care of it. How many bales are on it, I don't know, because they don't say, but it looks like it's had a pretty good life. So I imagine it's made quite a few bales in its lifetime, but it would do fine for here. We don't need nothing special anyway. But then for a cutter, they're a little more expensive. But again, you just have to get what you can and grind on with it, I guess, until you can afford something a little bit nicer. But I don't know. The main thing that I want to do is I kind of want to get rid of the young guy for cutting our hay, because then there we're saving a lot of money because we're not having to buy hay at the end of the year. But you know, you need the money to buy the baler and the cutter. So, but yeah, I mean, for getting a new barn and stuff like that, that's not going to happen for quite a few years yet. It's just, you know, because that's probably at least $50,000. There is a business close to home that does build buildings like that, so that's really nice. So if I need a building built, I can go to them. If they'll come this far, it ain't that far. I think they're close to an hour away, but they're still fairly close. So maybe they're like 40 minutes away. I don't really know. It depends on what route you take, but I mean, that's later on in life. And that's kind of another reason why, too, why we're calving outdoors. Because we don't have... I mean, the barn does work if you need it to work. Because, the inside's still fine. It's just we don't have a roof anymore. But you still have the ceiling. And the ceiling is actually built really good. So, the ceiling is now the roof. Yeah, rain does kind of leak in. But you know what? No snow gets in, and the wind don't really get in. So, it's still a good barn inside. It just looks ugly because it doesn't have its roof anymore. But, yeah, we do need a new barn built. Or the young guy suggested to get a pole barn. That's what he's got. And he says they're fairly cheap. So, that's probably the route we're going to go. Because, like I said, we don't need nothing fancy. I don't need to spend $100,000 on having another barn built just like the one that we have. Keep the old school theme. You can still do that even in a modern day barn. Just like with our barn that we have now, it's red and green. It's got red, the sides are red, and the roof is green. Okay. You can do that on buildings nowadays too. But instead of wood and shingles, it's all tin. You can get it ordered all in tin. And that's what I was going to do. I was actually going to have a new barn like that built. Have red siding. The roof would be green. And then the trim would be green. To kind of keep the old school theme of what we got going on right now. Keep that still alive. So, just in a new design. So, but yeah, that old barn, she's ugly and she's old, but it still gets the job done. It's just ugly. So, one day it'll get tore down and we'll have something new built with power. This one still has power, surprisingly, but the wiring is getting all wore out. So, I don't know. Try to get some fencing supplies. I know we got a big spool of wire, but I want to go to the hardware because last month I forgot to fucking look to see if he sold posts. Not T-posts, but the round posts for electric fencing. Because I know I can get them on Tractor Supply, but people don't like them, they say. They're junk. So I want to see what the hardware has because he sells electric fencing supplies. But the last time I was there, I forgot to go in there and look. No, actually, I was in there. I just forgot to go look. So if my stupid brain will work for once, maybe I'll fucking remember to go in there and look and see if it's... Because I know where it's got the T-posts, it's got them in the back. So I'm guessing that's probably where the electric fence posts would be at, too. Because I would like to get a bundle of them. Even though we're probably going to need like 500 to do everything we need to do. But, if I can get a 10-pack or a 20-pack or something for cheap, I might as well. And get started with this. It's never gonna happen if we just don't do it. So my grandma bought a spool of wire last month, so maybe I'll try to pick up something this month now for cheap, and then yeah. But it's gonna be kind of hard too because of Christmas. So my funds are really low. I still have to order one more thing yet. I didn't show this. I forgot to show this. But Midland finally got their brackets in stock. I don't know how good you guys can even see that, but this is their bracket for their antennas, and that's where I mounted it. And I had to bend it. Slightly, but because they were out of stock a while ago. But I bought this, and then I bought another antenna. That's the big black antenna that I have. It's the same thing as what I have on the 1586. So I got another one of those a couple of months ago. But now I want to order the wire so I can attach the antenna and then the wire, and then I'll run my wire up to the dash. Because that's actually the cheapest things to do first. And then the radios are really expensive. But the radios are going to be more of a summertime thing. But the worst thing to do is to run the wiring. So yeah, that's why this is on here. I'm not going to take it off. I'm going to leave it. And this is mounted to steel. So this should ground fine. Whereas up here, no grounding was ever going to... It was never going to ground there. I had a grounding wire running to that CB antenna, but no, I don't think it did anything. But But there it should, because this is metal. This bumper's metal. And then I'm guessing this is mounted to something else that's metal as well. So that should ground fairly well. But so yeah, like I said, I got their antenna and that mount. And that was a couple of months ago, actually. And then I think I was going to order the wire, the cable, but I was short on funds. And I think at the time they were also out of stock on that, because they have the newer version now, which is a lot cleaner now. But they have the old ones, but I don't really want the old ones. I'm also get the new ones because they're designed a little bit better now, to where they're a little more neater and clean when you install it. So get that installed, and then we'll put the radio up here. Then still don't know what kind of radio I'm going to get. Probably just a 40 watt, even though they're expensive as hell. But yeah, because I'm getting tired of carrying these handhelds around all the time, because I've dropped these things quite a few times. They're tough, they handle it, but you know, I'm afraid I might lose this radio one of these days, and then I'll never fucking find it. So you know, so yeah, but just got to see how things go. See if see what the hardware has for, and I know they got plenty of electric fencing supply stuff, but they got to have what I want in order for this to work correctly. And then the last thing that we got to buy, which is going to hurt us as well, is we got to upgrade the energizer for the fence. We got to upgrade the one that we have now, because that one's only a 5 mile, and apparently we've maxed it out. So the next one I was going to go, I think that one did 600 miles. So that's plenty for what we got to do. But yeah, so that's kind of what's on the plans right now anyway. I'm just kind of waiting to see what the hell goes on. And yeah, so we'll see if we can get anything done. And still got to decide on what to do with her, R1. You know, I mean, I would like to keep her, but I don't know. It's a tough choice, but gotta keep in mind too that she'll pretty much shoot you with a shotgun if you try to do anything with that. So, but I don't know. So I do apologize for this long video, but that's just what's going on. So I don't know how often I'll be making videos, but yeah, it's nice out too. So, but there isn't much to make videos about. So, but anyways, guys, I'm going to take off. So I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.